Hello everyone, welcome back. Okay, so today I'm going to explain about a very interesting and very important concept. Okay, so that is about DNA replication. Okay, so DNA replication, this is one of the most interesting mechanism that takes place in all living organisms. So irrespective whether it is a prokaryote or a eukaryotic organism, whatever it may be, in all the living organisms, there will be a replication process. Okay, so whenever an organism or the cells of the organism, so when they divide, at that time, before the cell division or prior to cell division, the DNA will be replicated. Okay, so at the S phase of cell division, we have studied about the cell cycle, isn't it? So where in the S phase, that is nothing but the synthetic phase, so where there will be the replication of the DNA. Okay, so this is one of the wondrous mechanism that takes place inside the every cell. So when the cell is preparing for division, at that time, especially in the S phase, that is in the synthetic phase, there will be the replication of the DNA. Okay, so one of the most wonderful mechanism that takes place in all living organism, that is nothing but the DNA replication. Okay, so let us discuss with the process of or concept of the replication process, that is DNA replication. Okay, so first you have to know what is this DNA replication. What is this mechanism? What is this DNA replication? See, DNA replication is nothing but it is a process by which the daughter DNA molecules are produced. Okay, or the process by which the DNA is doubled, or the process by which the DNA is multiplied. Okay, so see here, whenever the cell divide, no, it has to equally distributes its nuclear content to daughter cells, isn't it? So the chromosomal content or the nuclear material that should be distributed to two daughter cells equally. Hence, the amount of the DNA or the nuclear material which is present inside the cell, that should be doubled. Okay. So the doubling mechanism or the multiplication mechanism is what we call as DNA replication. So what is DNA replication? Process by which the parental DNA molecule that will produce a daughter DNA molecules, that is what is called as DNA replication, or the process by which the DNA is doubled or multiplied, that is what is called as DNA replication. Okay, so this is one of the complex mechanism that takes place in all the living organism, whether it is a prokaryote or whether it is an eukaryotic organism. It means whether it is an E. coli bacteria or it may be even in human beings also. Okay, it may be human being or it may be bacteria or it may be a plant or whatever, maybe the animal or whatever the plant or whatever the microorganism, in all those living organisms DNA replication will take place. So before that you should know the basic structure of DNA, that I have explained in previous video, isn't it? So where DNA is a molecule that is composed of two polynucleotide strands which are anti-parallel to each other and they are coiled in right-handed direction, isn't it? So there is a base complementarity can be seen in DNA, and the amount of purines which are equals to the amount of pyrimidines. So that is a basic concept about the DNA. So one should know, one should have the idea about the basic structure of DNA before knowing about the DNA replication. Okay, see, there are different categories, there are different methods can be seen in DNA replication. Among that, one of the most accepted method and one of the most common method of DNA replication is semi-conservative method of DNA replication. Okay, so besides that semi-conservative method, there is a conservative method of DNA replication, there is a disruptive method of DNA replication. Okay, so there are several methods were there in DNA replication, but the most common one is semi-conservative method of DNA replication. Okay, so then what is the semi-conservative method of DNA replication? So let us look into that. Semi-conservative method of DNA replication. Semi-conservative. So remember, the DNA is having two strands. Remember this thing. The DNA is having two strands, and both of the strands which are anti-parallel to each other. So I will make a colored differences here. Both of the strands which are anti-parallel to each other, isn't it? So remember, what is this semi-conservative? Semi means half or partial, isn't it? So it is a kind of DNA replication where half of the parental DNA is conserved and the another half is newly synthesized. Half means among the two strands of the parental DNA, during the replication, one DNA molecule that can act as a parental DNA. It means the original DNA molecule that can act as a parental DNA. By that parental DNA, the new DNAs will be synthesized, and they were what is considered as the daughter DNA molecule. Among the two strands of the DNA, one strand of the DNA that can act as the parental strand. Both of them, they can act as parental strand. Among that, one parental strand is conserved and the another parental strand is newly synthesized. It means if the two daughter DNA molecules are produced by this parental DNA, one of the parental DNA strand is conserved and the another strand is newly synthesized. Among the two strands of DNA, one strand remains, that is nothing but the parental strand, and the another strand is newly synthesized. Okay. So that is why it is said to be semi-conservative method of DNA replication. Semi means partial or half. Among the two strands, one parental strand is conserved and the another strand is newly synthesized. So this is a daughter DNA, no? In this daughter DNA, so this is the original. Suppose if I think this is the original strand, okay, this is the original strand of DNA that is conserved as such, and whatever the black letter, so here that is newly synthesized. Okay, so that is newly synthesized. I will make differences here. Okay, so suppose if I write the parental DNA with the blue color, so then we will clearly understand. So suppose if it gives the daughter DNA molecule, okay, so one will be the parental DNA strand and another one will be the newly synthesized. Remember, the blue colored one is the parental DNA strand and the black one is newly synthesized. Okay, so among that, 50% of the DNA is conserved, 50% of the parental DNA is conserved. Okay, so where, see, the blue one is the parental DNA and the black one is the daughter DNA molecule. So hence, among the two strands, one is a parental strand and another one is a daughter DNA strand. That is the newly synthesized one. So this is a daughter DNA, so another one is the newly synthesized one. Okay, so that's why this type of replication is what is called as semi-conservative method of DNA replication. Okay, so and also there is another method of replication, that is conservative method of replication. So as the name itself suggests, conservative method. So conservative method, it means is contrast to semi-conservative method of DNA replication. Suppose this is the parental DNA strand. If it produces a daughter DNA and the daughter DNA strands, the two strands in the daughter DNA, they were completely newly synthesized and parental DNA is totally conserved. A mode of replication in which the daughter DNA strand, the two strands in the daughter DNA, they were completely newly synthesized. They were newly synthesized and the parental DNA strand is totally conserved. Compared to the previous one, in semi-conservative method, in daughter DNA, one strand is parental strand and another strand is newly synthesized. But in case of conservative method of DNA replication, the parental DNA is totally conserved and the daughter DNA, where the two strands in the daughter DNA, they were totally newly synthesized. Okay, so that is why it is said to be conservative. Parental DNA is conserved totally. Okay, that is what is called as conservative method of DNA replication. Okay, so then the next kind of mode of DNA replication is dispersive method of DNA replication. Dispersive method of DNA replication. So as it suggests, disperse. The parental DNA strand is dispersed into fragments. It is broken into fragments and those fragments which are dispersed into the daughter DNA strands. Okay, suppose the parental DNA is like this. Okay, if the parental DNA is like this, then the daughter DNA molecule, so where the parental DNA strand is dispersed, it means it will be like this. Okay, so this is what is called as dispersive method of DNA replication. So parental DNA is dispersed into daughter DNA. So where in the first method, first one half of the parental DNA, it means one strand of the parental DNA is conserved and another strand is newly synthesized. Whereas in the second one, parental DNA is totally conserved and daughter DNA, where the two strands in the daughter DNA which are newly synthesized. But whereas in this method, in dispersive method, so where parental DNA is dispersed into two daughter DNA strands. Okay, so that is what is called as dispersive method of DNA replication. Okay, so the first one, the most accepted or the most common kind of DNA replication is semi-conservative method of DNA replication. Okay, so this method of DNA replication was first proposed by Watson and Crick. It was first proposed by Watson and Crick. So you know the name of them. So they proposed a double helical model of DNA, isn't it? So similarly, they also proposed semi-conservative method of DNA replication. Okay. So this is also having experimental evidences, several experimental evidences like Michelson and Stahl experiment. So then Taylor experiment. There are various experiments were proved the DNA replication is semi-conservative method. Okay. So about those experiments I will explain in the next video. Okay. So first I will explain the mechanism of DNA replication. So then what are the requirements for replication? Okay. The requirements for replication or semi-conservative method of replication. So first thing is the enzymes. Enzymes are very much necessary for DNA replication because this is a biochemical process, no? Hence it takes place or carried out purely by means of enzymes. Enzymes are very much necessary for DNA replication. So enzymes, then nucleotides. So as DNA is a polymer of nucleotides, okay, so nucleotides are very much necessary. So where this is a combination of phosphate, then sugar as well as the nitrogen bases. So all together comprises the nucleotide. Enzymes and nucleotides which are very much necessary, and also by means of some proteins requires for replication of DNA. Okay, there is a requirement of proteins for the replication of DNA, and also the requirement of energy source like ATP. Okay, they require triphosphates for as energy source. Okay, so these are the basic requirements for DNA replication. Okay, so let us look what are the different types of enzymes which are used or utilized in DNA replication. Okay, so the first one is one of the most important enzymes like helicases. Helicases. So the function of each enzyme is very important for your examination. Okay, for 2 or 3 marks. Helicases, remember. See, helicases are the groups of enzymes. Okay, which mainly the main function of helicase is to unwind the DNA strand. You know that DNA is a double-stranded molecule, isn't it? And the two strands of DNA, they are coiled each other in a right-handed direction, whereas without unwinding of the DNA, replication is not possible. It means the bases which are found in the DNA, that should be open up. Okay, so it should be separated. The two strands of the DNA, that they should be separated. Okay, so hence unwinding of DNA is very much necessary before the beginning of replication. Unwinding of the DNA helix is very much necessary. It means the two strands of the DNA helix, they get separated in the form of a loop or a bubble. In the form of a loop or a bubble. So that is purely by means of binding of helicases enzyme. Okay, so helicases, they binds to DNA strand and they causes the hydrolysis of the bonds which are present between the bases. It means mainly nothing but the hydrogen bonds which are found between the bases. The hydrogen bonds which are found between the bases. So where they were broken down, and the two strands of the DNA, they get separated. Separation of two strands of DNA is what is called as unwinding. So DNA unwinding. So you know it is a coiled molecule. The two strands which are coiled each other. So the main function of helicases is to unwind the DNA. It means it will separate the two DNA strands. Okay. So by binding to the specific sites on the DNA, the helicases enzyme which causes hydrolysis or breakdown reaction. So where the bonds which are found between the nitrogenous bases, means especially the hydrogen bonds. You know, two hydrogen bonds which are present between A and T, and similarly the three hydrogen bonds which are present between C and G, isn't it? So these bonds will be broken down by the action of helicases. Hence the two strands of the DNA, they get separated, they get open up. Okay, so that process is what is called as unwinding of DNA. That is mainly done by the enzyme what is known as helicases. Okay, so these helicases, they require It's an active process. The unwinding of DNA is an active process, so where it requires energy, that is in the form of ATP. They are ATP dependent. Okay. So then the next group of enzymes were mainly called as nucleases. See, these are the very important enzymes. They were what is known as nucleases. So there are two kinds. You know that there is an endonuclease and there is an exonuclease. There are two categories in nucleases enzymes. So usually the nucleases will hydrolyze the bonds, or which causes the cleavage of the molecules like DNA, or it may be the RNA. So like endonucleases and the exonucleases, there are two kinds. So exonucleases are the enzymes which cleaves outside the restriction site or outside the specific sites, slightly outside group cut ಮಾಡಂತ enzymes na exonucleases ಅಂತೀವಿ. So endonucleases are the enzymes which cuts the DNA within, and also they interact with the bonds. It means the bonds which are found in the DNA. So with those bonds, especially the phosphodiester bonds, with those bonds these enzymes they will react, they interact. They are endonucleases. Whereas exonucleases, they do not interact with the bond, simply they are responsible for cleavage. Okay, so they are what is called as exonucleases. Okay, so the next thing is, the next group of enzymes is polymerases. Okay, so where we discussed about the helicases and the nucleases, isn't it? So nucleases are of two types, exonucleases and the endonucleases. So both of the nucleases will attack, especially the exonuclease enzyme will attack at the free ends, especially either at the 3' or the 5' ends. Free ends, wherever it finds a free end, so where the exonucleases shows its activity. So the endonucleases, so they also either they attack at the 3' or the 5' end, so where they specifically interact with or react with the bonds which are found between the polynucleotides. Okay, especially the phosphodiester bonds. You know that the nucleotides which are held together by means of phosphodiester bond, isn't it? So with those phosphodiester bonds, so these exonucleases or the nucleases enzyme will interact. Exonucleases, they act at the free ends, either it is 3' or 5' end, free end they act. Endonucleases, so interiorly they act. Endo, as the name itself suggests, inter, and they interact with the bonds which are found, okay, within the polynucleotide chain. So then the next group of enzyme is polymerases. So as the name itself suggests, polymerases. Poly means many. Poly, they carry polymerization reactions. Okay. So there are three major polymerase enzymes can be seen here. So one is DNA polymerase 1, DNA polymerase 1, then DNA polymerase 2, and DNA polymerase 3. There are three polymerase enzyme can be seen. See, another very important thing, there is lots of differences between the replication of DNA replication of prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Okay, so I will comparatively explain later. So what is the difference between the replication in prokaryotes as well as in eukaryotes? Okay, so this is generalized one. What are the requirements for DNA replication? So for polymerases enzymes which mainly carry the polymerization reaction, so means the addition of nucleotides. Okay, there are three kinds of polymerases enzymes can be seen. One is DNA polymerase 1, DNA polymerase 2, and DNA polymerase 3. Okay, among this, the three polymerase enzymes, DNA polymerase 1 and DNA polymerase 2, they are responsible with the proofreading and mismatch repair. Proofreading means once after the replication process is completed, simultaneously before completion, simultaneously the DNA polymerase enzyme that runs along the strands of the DNA to check if there is any mistakes there during the replication. That is what is called as a proofreading. Suppose if there is any mismatches means, for example, you know that A always pairs with T, no? In case, in place of, instead of T, if there is a C or G, if any, or it may be A also, if there is any mismatch or misbase is added at that place, it means other than a complementary base, then that is they remove that unwanted base. Okay, so that is what is called as mismatch repair. So that is mainly carried out by the enzyme DNA polymerase 2. Polymerase 1 and polymerase 2, they are responsible for proofreading and mismatch repair. And whereas the major enzyme, what is called as DNA polymerase 3, that is an enzyme that carry polymerization reaction, means the addition of nucleotides. Okay, so it will helps in growing of the polynucleotide chain. It goes on adding the nucleotides. Okay, so that is DNA polymerase 3. See, the DNA polymerase 3 in prokaryotes, it is nearly having 10 subunits. So like alpha, beta, then theta, epsilon, delta. Okay, there are nearly 10 subunits can be seen in prokaryotes. That is DNA polymerase 3. So whereas the DNA polymerase in eukaryotes, there are 5 different DNA polymerases can be seen in eukaryotes. Okay, so there are 5 different DNA polymerase enzymes can be seen in eukaryotes. So like DNA polymerase alpha, DNA polymerase alpha, then DNA polymerase beta, DNA polymerase gamma, then DNA polymerase delta, okay, DNA polymerase delta, then DNA polymerase epsilon, DNA polymerase epsilon. Okay, so there are 5 DNA polymerase can be seen in eukaryotes. The prokaryotic DNA polymerase enzyme, that is having 10 subunits. Okay, an enzyme is having 10 subunits. But whereas in case of eukaryotes, there are 5 kinds of DNA polymerase they can be seen. That is for DNA polymerase alpha, beta, gamma, delta and epsilon. Okay, among this DNA polymerase alpha, this is a major enzyme that majorly involved in DNA replication. Earlier it was thought to be this is the only major enzyme involved in replication process in eukaryotes. But later it is came to know that along with the DNA polymerase alpha, the DNA polymerase delta, that is also one of the major enzyme involved in the process of replication. So remember the difference in DNA polymerases enzyme. One is, whereas in case of prokaryotes, we can see 10 subunits in DNA polymerase enzyme, especially there are 3 kinds of enzyme, polymerase 1, polymerase 2 and polymerase 3. But whereas in case of eukaryotes, there are 5 different kinds of DNA polymerase enzyme can be seen, like alpha, beta, gamma, delta and epsilon. So among that, in prokaryotes, DNA polymerase 1 and 2, they are responsible for proofreading and mismatch repair. Polymerase 3 is responsible for DNA replication. Okay, that is for polymerization reactions. Okay, but here there are different enzymes, DNA polymerase enzymes. Among that, the major one is DNA polymerase alpha and also the DNA polymerase delta. So these are the DNA. What is the major main function of DNA polymerases is to carry the polymerization reaction. It means the synthesis of a new nucleotide strand. Okay, so then the next group of enzyme are topoisomerases. Topoisomerases. Okay, so remember these are the enzymes. So where they are majorly responsible for relieving the supercoiling of DNA. You know that the helicases, they attaches to specific sites on the DNA. They binds to specific sites on the DNA. The DNA helicases. They goes on unwinding the DNA strand. By melting the hydrogen bonds which are found between the 2 strands of DNA. Okay, andre DNA na 2 strand alli iranta strands madhye iranta hydrogen bonds anna break ಮಾಡಿ DNA helicase ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, DNA strand na unwind ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ 2 strands of DNA get separated even gradually. So we thought that if it goes on separating this one like this, the 2 strands of DNA, if it is separating in this direction, there will be a coiling, supercoiling can be seen on the other direction. So just how you are separating the ropes, 2 twined ropes, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ 2 ropes twine ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, intertwine ಆಗಿದೆ, ಕಾಯಿಲ್ ಆಗಿದೆ 2 ropes, ಒಂದು ಎಂಡಿಂದ ನೀವು ಸೆಪರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. Imagine, okay, 2 ropes which are coiled each other. From one end you are going to separate them, but there will be a development of a stress or a supercoiling at the other end. Similar here also, the helicases enzymes, this goes on unwinding the DNA, but there is a development of supercoiling at the other end. Okay, means a stress that is developed at the other end. A supercoiling can be seen at the other end. So that's why these topoisomerases are the major enzymes which are responsible for relieving those supercoilings by causing a nick in DNA. It means it cleaves the DNA strand. Okay, so make it freely rotatable. It causes a nick or a cleavage wherever there is a supercoiling. At that point, it causes a nick in the DNA strand. So where it helps in free rotating. Okay, so it means it relieves the stress. It relieves the supercoiling by causing a nick. Those enzymes are what is called as topoisomerases. By causing a nick means a small cut. So where it makes the DNA, it releases that stress that is developed during unwinding. Okay, so that is a major function of topoisomerases. Okay, so among that there are two categories, topoisomerase 1 and topoisomerase 2. It means one of the category, that is the first one, topoisomerase 1, it cleaves one of the strand of DNA. It means it creates a nick in one strand, single strand. Whereas the other one, it creates nick in both of the strands. That is topoisomerase 2. Okay, so this is about topoisomerases. Topoisomerase 2 is also known as gyrase, DNA gyrase. Okay, so what is the major function of topoisomerases? So the major function is where it relieves the stress or the supercoiling which is developed during DNA unwinding process. So DNA unwinding that takes place with the help of helicases enzyme. So where it develops a supercoiling, and that supercoiling is released by topoisomerases. Okay, so that is another important enzyme. Remember. So then the other enzyme which is required for DNA replication is primase. RNA primase or DNA primase. Okay, so in case of eukaryotes it is DNA primase, whereas in case of prokaryotes it is to be RNA primase. So then what is this RNA primase or DNA primase in eukaryotes? So RNA primase or DNA primase, this is an enzyme majorly responsible for the synthesis of a short segment of RNA. So ಏನಿದು DNA replication ಅಂತ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ RNA ಅಂತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So this is very important to initiate DNA replication. A short segment of RNA which is very much necessary to initiate DNA replication. See, no DNA polymerase enzyme is reported to initiate DNA replication without an RNA primer. Okay, so hence RNA primer is very much necessary to start or initiate DNA replication. Then what is this RNA primer? RNA primer is nothing but it is a short segment of RNA, nearly measures about 10 bases or length of about 10 bases. RNA primer, this is a short segment of RNA with nearly 10 bases. Okay, so it is about the length of a 10 base. It is very much necessary to initiate the replication process. Okay, so in prokaryotes it is RNA primase enzyme that prepares or synthesizes RNA primer, and whereas in the eukaryotes it is DNA primase, so where it is synthesizes the RNA primer. What is a primer? A primer is a short segment of RNA with nearly about 10 bases. Okay, so that is the very important one. So this is also one of the requirement for a major important requirement for DNA replication, that is RNA primer. Okay, so then the next group of enzymes, what we call as DNA ligases. So see, this is a very major important enzyme which is required to seal the gap between the DNA fragments. By adding sugar and phosphate. This will add sugar and phosphate group, and that will seals the gap that is produced in DNA during the replication process. See, the DNA replication process, especially the semi-conservative method of DNA replication, so where it takes place in two ways. One is semi-continuous replication. It means the continuous replication. Another one is the discontinuous replication. Semi-continuous means semi-conservative replication that takes place in a continuous manner. Semi-discontinuous means so where the method of replication, so where that takes place in a discontinuous manner. So there are among the two strands of DNA, on one strand of the DNA the replication process that goes on takes place continuously. It means continuously the nucleotides will be added. Okay. Whereas on that strand is what is called as leading strand. Okay, I will tell you later. Whereas on the other strand, the lagging strand, so where the DNA replication is discontinuous. So discontinuous means where the nucleotides were not added continuously as like in the leading strand. So here there are gaps between the fragments. So where majorly the primers which are required. So here there will be a gap between the segments of the DNA. So like this. So if DNA is open up like this for replication, ಈ ಥರ DNA open up ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಆಮೇಲೆ diagram ಬರೀತೀನಿ replication fork. So on one strand the replication will be continuous. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು leading strand ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. On the other strand replication process is discontinuous. It means that just like fragments can be seen on the other strand, that is what is called as a lagging strand. Okay. So where the gap which is found between these fragments of DNA, so it will be filled and those fragments will be joined as a continuous stretch. That is mainly done by DNA ligases. The major enzymes which seals the gap by adding sugar and phosphate backbone. So where a continuous strand of DNA is synthesized by DNA ligase. Hence DNA ligase are the enzymes which are popularly known as molecular stitchers or molecular glue. Glue means it joins, okay, the two fragments of DNA by adding the sugar and phosphate bases. Okay, so these are the major enzymes which are required for DNA replication. And also there are some proteins also required for DNA replication. So they are single stranded binding proteins. Single strand binding proteins. So what are these single strand binding proteins? SSBP, single strand binding protein, shortly termed as SSBP, single strand binding proteins. So what are these proteins? See, once DNA strand is unwinded with the action of helicases enzyme, there is a chance of rewinding of the DNA. It means the two separated strands, they may coil each other again. The helicase enzyme that goes on unwinding the DNA in one direction, but at the same time there will be chances of the rebinding of the two strands of DNA. It means recoiling of two strands of DNA. Once uncoil is taken place, the two strands of DNA simultaneously, there may be a chances again, there will be a chances again recoiling of the two strands of DNA. So that should be avoided because DNA strand is open up for replication, no? Because both of the strands of the DNA, the parental strand, they can act as a template. Both the strands, they can act as a template. It means just like a copy, original copy, by which the new strand is on which the new strand is synthesized based upon the information which is found on the template. Based on that, the corresponding nucleotides will be added. The complementary nucleotides will be added according to the message or the information which is found on the template strand. It is just like an original copy upon which the new copy is synthesized. Okay. So the two strands which are separated by the action of helicase enzyme, there is a chance that again they can coil. That coiling, the recoiling is avoided by these proteins, single strand binding proteins. They binds to one of the strand of the DNA and that prevents the rebinding of the two strands or recoiling of the two strands of DNA. So this is very important. Helicases enzyme, they unwind the DNA. Simultaneously, single strand binding proteins, they binds to the strand of one of the strands of the DNA, so where they prevent the recoiling of the two strands of the DNA. Okay, so that is the major function of these proteins, that is single stranded binding proteins. Okay, so that is another requirement for DNA replication. Okay, see, whether it is a prokaryote or eukaryote, to initiate a replication or to begin a replication, so there is a specific site in both the prokaryotes as well as in eukaryotes. It means the DNA replication begins with a specific site. It is initiated at a specific site, and those sites, or it is originated at a specific site, and those sites are what is called as RE site. See, this is very important. RE site. The replication process where it begins with the specific site, it is initiated or originated at a specific site, and that site is what is called as RE site. See, the prokaryotic DNA, say as the E. coli cells or any prokaryotic DNA that is having only one RE site. Only one RE site can be seen in a prokaryotic DNA. Okay. So, by that RE site, the DNA replication is initiated. So, thereby the replication process will be complete. It is a continuous process. Okay. So, but it is originated at a specific site. That site is what is called as RE site. RE stands for origin of replication. Origin of replication, from where the replication is originated. Whereas in prokaryotic organisms, only one RE site will be there in their DNA. But in case of eukaryotes, the eukaryotic DNA is having multiple RE sites. So it may be thousands of RE sites can be seen in eukaryotic DNA. So that is should make out the difference between the replication process of prokaryotes and the eukaryotes. So the reason is the eukaryotic DNA will be very lengthy. Especially, for example, if we take human DNA, it will be very lengthy. To complete that much amount of DNA, the process of replication, to complete that, it requires more time. Hence, as replication is originated at multiple sites, so easily the process of replication will be completed within a limited time. Okay. So, or it completes early. Whereas the prokaryotic DNA, the length of the prokaryotic DNA is very less when compared to the eukaryotic DNA. Hence, the RE sites will be only one. It is sufficient to initiate or to originate the process of replication, so to complete the process of replication. But in case of eukaryotes, so they have multiple RE sites, multiple origin of replication sites. There may be thousands of RE sites can be seen in eukaryotic DNA. Okay, so these are the requirements which are necessary for the DNA replication process. Okay. So, in next video, I explain about the mechanism of replication. Okay, so and also one thing, the DNA replication is always it is bidirectional. Okay, so sometimes it is unidirectional also, but majority it is bidirectional process, and it takes place in 5' to 3' direction. It takes place in 5' to 3' direction. Okay. So it is bidirectional process. Bidirectional. It means it takes place in both the directions. It is a bidirectional process. So it is unidirectional also can be seen, but in most it is majority it is bidirectional. Okay, in two directions the DNA replication will take place. For example, in case of mitochondrial DNA, so where we can see unidirectional mode of replication, but in the nuclear DNA the replication will be the bidirectional process. In both of the directions, the replication will take place, and always replication that takes place in 5' to 3' direction. Always it takes place in this direction, that is in 5' to 3' direction. So where on a template strand that is ranging, on a template strand that is running in 3' to 5' direction. DNA replication that runs in 5' to 3' direction. Remember this. On a template strand, what is called 3' to 5'. Okay, so this can act as a template strand on which in this direction, 5' to 3' direction, the replication process will begins, and that runs. Okay, so this is about the requirements of DNA replication and also about the introduction of DNA replication. So in next video, I explain about the mechanism of DNA replication. Okay, thank you.